Hey everyone, this is Mrs. Schuster. Welcome to Individual Tax class. This is just a quick little introduction to the course. I just want to talk about a few things. And so I have our Blackboard homepage right on your screen. The first thing that you should look at is the Welcome Start Here. Actually, the first thing you'll see is probably an announcement telling you welcome to the class, read all the material. So under Welcome Start Here, we've got all kinds of information for you, some information about the class itself, additional information that you probably should know, information about our textbook. Let's see here, some Netiquette, technical support, disabilities, library, some other resources. Check it all out. It's all there for your information. Next, we've got our syllabus and schedule. Okay, so please download and read your syllabus and the schedule. The schedule is very detailed. Let me go ahead and open that for you. Has listed everything that we're going to do. This LO1-3 stands for the learning objective within that chapter. So chapter 1, learning objectives 1 through 3, 5, 6, and then we'll go back and do 4. I know that's kind of goofy. We're also not doing things in order. We're doing chapter 1, and then we're moving on to chapter 6. Along the way, we've got some homework, some discussion, some sample problems, lots of things that we're going to do in this class. The homework or the assignments are done through Cengage, just like you did in Accounting 1 if you've had Accounting 1 already, or Accounting 2. So there is a Cengage link, and let me go back over to that. Here's our Cengage link to the course. You click on this link right here. It'll take you over to the course. There's only one assignment per chapter, but each assignment has lots of different pieces to it. So don't underestimate the time that you're going to need. There's quite a bit to it. Those are just like all other Cengage assignments. There's Show Me How, or at least there should be, Unlimited Check My Work, things like that. So you can do them until you get them correct. Let's see here. Also on the schedule, there's some discussion questions. The discussion questions in this class are maybe not as great as the fraud ones, but some of them are pretty interesting. Sample problems. Those are done in each chapter. I'll have some assignments. So here's chapter 1. And we've got a list of things that you have to do, watch the videos, and then we've got some sample problems. So if I click on this folder to get into the list of things that we have to do, here's our first sample problem. So you'll download the problem along with all the forms that you need. And right down here, it says print the following 3 forms, a 1040A, a Schedule B, and a 1040A qualified dividend and capital gains worksheet. So you'll need all 3 of those forms, plus the sample problem 1 here, that's your scenario. So you're going to have a scenario that you'll use to complete those tax forms. It's going to be very important before you try to do something like that you first watch the videos. And so maybe I ought to back up just a little bit here. Chapter resources. Each chapter has its own resources. So there's some study tips. These were tips from another student that I thought were very helpful. It was the first time that I taught this class online. Letterman's always funny. That's a really old one. PowerPoints, some lecture notes, and then some videos. These I did back in January and February. So these are all of the chapter 1 videos. And a little bit on chapter 2, because we have a couple of things that we had to cover in chapter 2. So watch these videos, take notes on them, watch them more than once if you have to. They have some great information, and you will not be able to do the sample problems correctly without watching those videos and taking notes on them. A lot of things, a lot of information that is that's not available in the textbook, I will talk about. Things like certain lines on certain tax forms that you want to watch out for. What does this mean, or what does that mean? That the videos will explain. So I've had students who tried to take this class without watching the videos because they were trying to take what they thought was the easy way out. They usually don't do very well in this class. Sometimes they don't even pass. Please watch those. It basically is taking the place of your class, the in-class class. All the things that I would tell all those students who always do very well in this class, that's what you're getting in the videos. So we have 5 chapters that we're going to cover, and in each chapter, let me go to chapter 6 here. Chapter 6 we take a while. So I've got the first week of chapter 6, the second week of chapter 6, and the third week of chapter 6. That all goes right along with the schedule. You notice the first week of, there are 2 weeks of chapter 6, I'm sorry, 3 weeks of chapter 6 that we cover. So you can follow the schedule here. Also, here in Blackboard, I've got it all spelled out for you, everything that we're going to do every single week. I will also have an announcement every week to reminding you kind of what we did last week, what we're going to go on moving forward this week, what we're going to be doing, things like that. Another thing that we'll be doing is some virtual classes or virtual office hours, things like that. So I will have an announcement normally. If we go back to the first page, the home page, oh, need to click more announcements. Where's my virtual class? Our first virtual class will be on Thursday, August 9th at 7:45 p.m. I'm probably going to try to stick with that time slot just because I have a class right before that, and hopefully that'll work for people who had to work during the day. So I will always send an announcement when we're going to do that, and I won't probably do one every single week, but you'll get them quite often just for this class, just because this is really not an easy class online. And hopefully I can give you some additional information or maybe highlight some things that are in the videos that you want to watch out for. Most students try to catch these virtual classes just because it will help them in the long run. But you'll have a link to join them, so I'll send an email announcement out, and all you have to do is click on that link to join the virtual class. If you've never done one of those, it's done through Collaborate in Blackboard. Once you join, if you've got a camera, you can turn that on and we can see each other. You'll always be able to see me. If you have a microphone, you can talk. If you don't have a microphone, you can just use the chat option. There's a chat option. And then if none of that works for you, you can always just call in as well. Once you click on the link, there's a phone number to call in so that you can talk and hear that way. What else do I want to talk about? Due dates and grading. Okay, so, and this is the last thing that I'm going to talk about in this video. So we've already seen the due dates. So let's talk about this first sample. We'll talk about assignments first, this first assignment. The chapter 1, it says right here, chapter 1 homework. That isn't engaged, and once that deadline passes, that assignment will shut down and it will no longer be available. So you want to make sure you get that done in time. Then the next type of assignment that you have is the discussions. Those I do keep open, but there's a penalty if you don't follow the discussion guidelines or the deadlines. So over here, discussions, where are they? Discussion guidelines, right down here. Make sure you read and understand those discussion guidelines. If you have any questions, please contact me. I'll be happy to help you. The third is our sample problems. So sample problems are graded as correct or not correct. If you've got even one little error in there, usually one little error will make a huge difference. And the IRS doesn't accept tax returns that aren't correct normally, especially if you've got some inconsistencies. That's one of the biggest errors that I usually find in the tax returns that students do, are inconsistencies. And by the way, these are all done manually, so you'll print out the forms, fill them out, scan them, or take pictures of them, whatever you need to do, and send them back to me. I prefer them that way, so please use a pencil, not a pen. Make sure that you can read the pictures that you take. But if you get this back and it has a 0, that means you need to redo it. And so you have 1 week from the due date to redo that and get it back to me correctly. So if your first sample problem is due August 27th, let me go over to August, then you have until August 27th is a Monday, so you have until September 3rd to get that turned in correctly. So let's say since this chapter or this sample problem begins on August 20th, you turn it in to me on the 21st. I'll probably grade it within the first couple of days, and then you still have until September 3rd to resubmit. That first submission, though, is due by August 27th, and if it's not to me by August 27th, there is a penalty, and it's spelled out all over the place, 50% penalty for late submissions. But sometimes people are willing to submit something at a 50% penalty in order to not get a 0. So those are the different types of problems that we have, the different types of assignments, and hopefully you will join us for our virtual class on August 9th.